And welcome everyone to the idyllic seaside town of Boao in South China's Hainan province. My name is Michael Wong. Look, we are in a small town of Boao, around 30,000 in terms of population, but this small town, every single year it really punches above its weight because it is home to the Boao Forum for Asia annual gathering where we bring the region and the world's top business leaders, government leaders, and scholars to come to Boao to discuss some of the world's major challenges ahead. And most importantly, I think this is a forum that really offers Asia's wisdom, perspective, and insights when it comes to the global economy and social development, because 60% of the world's population lives here in Asia. We're coming to you now from the Cultural Park, right next to the BFA venue site. And I'm not sure if you guys can hear the audience, but it is pouring right now. We're coming to you in a thunderstorm, but I love the fragrance that we are smelling right now here at the Boao Cultural Park. I am joined by my colleagues Lili Lu. Say hi.
Hi everyone. Enjoy the tropical weather. That's
Absolutely. I mean, usually it's very sunny here, but I love this fragrant smell of the rain plus the grass. We're also joined by our Gaoang.
Hi, I'm Boao from CGTN.
We are joined also by Zhang Shijie.
Hi, this is Jessica from CGTN Digital.
Jessica, welcome, and then also Chen Zhou.
Hello everyone. It's actually my first time to
Your
cover.
first time?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, so we've all been covering the Boao Forum for Asia the entire week. A lot of insights to share. But first of all, ladies, look at this, huh?
Wow.
This is a feast for the eyes, I would say, and for the tummy.
Afternoon tea time.
So this is what these would be Hainan specialties in terms of local delicacies, pastries, desserts. We also have some pork ribs. This is a tea, I believe, right? So let's pass this around.
Still warm.
Of course, we're going to talk about some of the major challenges facing the global economy and society, but we want to maybe introduce a little bit about Hainan culture because this is just absolutely fantastic, so colorful. Right now, we have these steamed buns. Inside, it's coconut filling, right? The tea culture, I would say, first of all, in Hainan is absolutely fantastic because it can go on for quite a long time. Afternoon tea, it can start from maybe 1 p.m. and then all the way to dinner.
Yeah. Can't really wait.
I can't wait to dig in, but we've got all kinds of different pastries here in different shapes. They look, I think, too beautiful to eat.
I know.
Right?
This is a local opera, I think.
Local opera, shaped in the local opera.
And then we have the local architecture.
Yeah, so this is like a Southeast Asia arcade style, right? So it's got that flair. This is sort of like a mystery box of steamed buns. So we have, so we have different flavors in here.
You
wouldn't
don't know what's inside.
You don't know what flavors are in here unless you take a bite. So I think we have custard as well as char siu in here as well. So a pork filling. So does anybody want to maybe give it a bite and try? Maybe later.
Yeah.
We have these type of special Hainan cakes as well. So this is a tropical herb, I guess, a specialty of Southeast Asia, which gives it this green flavor. And then
This is coffee, right?
and this is coffee,
And
a type of coffee cake. Yeah. Oh, speaking of coffee, have you guys tried the Hainan coffee? It's quite good.
I know you've always wanted to come and settle down in Hainan to become a coffee
A coffee
bean
farmer? Yeah. I mean, this is sort of the dream, isn't it? So, because Hainan has the Robusta beans, which Vietnam has as well. And I think the Robusta beans, it's stronger than the Arabica beans that you find elsewhere. It really perks you up. So maybe you can have some tea, have some coffee as well, and then have some
How many coffee do you have while you're here?
Usually I average about 4 to 5 cups every morning.
Really?
Yes. You got to really be sort of in the zone to soak in all the information. Which pastry would you ladies want to try first? I mean, you're not going to eat it on air, of course, immediately.
Why
but
not?
A coconut tree.
A coconut tree.
Pineapple one.
Yeah,
I'll show this
I want
to
to
our
try the
audience.
tea first.
Pineapple cake.
I mean, these cakes look really good. I might want to try these in a second.
Okay.
But let's get the conversation started, right? Because there's a lot of major topics being talked about every single year at the Boao Forum for Asia. This year's theme is Asia and the World. Common challenges, shared responsibilities. So every year, many major themes such as the world's economic outlook, we have a China economic outlook, technologies such as artificial intelligence, social development as well.
So many topics.
So many topics. Lily, you moderated a session this year as well. Talk to us more about that.
So when I came here this year, I had this question in my head. I was like, how can I make this year's session different from last year? By the way, I was hosting the same theme session in the Boao Forum, so that is corporate ESG, social value, or value to society.
Yeah.
So, these kind of topics, they could easily become cliche if people, if you have people repeat what they say last year again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some research trying to make something different and try to make that a key word for today's session, for this year's session. So I did some research and figured out that China actually has made great progress during the past 2 years, and that by the end of 2023, the government actually, according to a regulation, they wanted to make sure that all the listed companies under China's state-owned companies do their ESG information disclosure duties.
Yeah.
They have to produce a report every year. So that is something compulsory now for many companies here in China. So I decided that the keyword for this session would be must. Instead of last year, it would be optional. Last year, we keep talking about this is optional, but it's a good option. You should really opt for that. But this year, this is a must. It's not something you can choose from, something that you have to do. So that's the key word. And I sort of started my opening at the session with this keyword, and I think all the participants, they just immediately jump in and tell me, yes, this is a must, and now the time is different. This is more urgent, more pressing, so we're dealing with this in a different manner.
Yeah.
And also, during my session, I interviewed this guest from China Communications Construction, and he told me a story that was really interesting. He actually raised a question. He said, so we have operations world in 158 countries and regions. So we had this staff in Africa. He and two other staff rescued a baby elephant from a marshland or the place that you go walking and you would actually sink. And so they rescued a baby elephant from there. That site was quite close to the construction site that they were working at. So he actually raised a question. So in an incident like that, how do we actually assess and value my staff's ESG action? How do we assess that and put it into our report? Because assessment is about monetizing ESG practices. So that's something really good. So I asked the other panelists on site and asked them about their opinions on how to make assessments and measurements on incidents like that, and they gave their ideas. But there was no definite answer because this is something that's in progress, developing every day. Yeah. So the good thing is about raising questions. I think that is precisely why we are here today talking about things. You have to raise new questions for those analysts, specialists to do more studies and to do research work and come up with something, right? So at the end of the session, I shared with something that I truly felt during the session that I gained from all my panelists. I think doing ESG is not just about doing good, but it's about doing well. It's about doing something good in a well manner that it creates both social and commercial value for a business, and that is the way you can keep your stakeholders keep doing this and you keep investing in that.
Absolutely, and hopefully our audience heard what you said, because ladies, it is absolutely pouring right now. I'm not sure you guys can see, but the rain is really coming in.
It's actually coming down.
It's coming down as well, but this is great. I think, I don't think anybody has done a live stream or a show in this kind of weather, but we're coming to you from Hainan. It's a tropical island province, so it's great to have this kind of weather. Boao, you also moderated a session that's somewhat similar as well, right? So green development related. Talk to us about some of the highlights in your session.
Yeah, so I've been coming to cover Boao Forum for 4 years, but this is definitely the first time I moderated a panel. I felt really anxious before, especially the night before the panel, where we did rehearsal. It was very intense, but I think the day went quite well, and we spoke about how, because my guests were coming from really different industries and fields. One is the Deputy Minister of Transport, and also I went from Energy China, the chairman of Energy China state-owned enterprises. So they speak about how their practices and experience of really to integrating innovation and green development, and also the digitalization in their industry, and try to boost the high quality development of their industries, and also to further open up and also boost international cooperation. And I think another keyword is the new quality productive forces, which has been stressed again and again during this year's 2 sessions. Yeah. They also spoke there how transportation field can better boost the new quality productive forces, and how artificial intelligence can be applied in research and also for enterprises. So it's a very interesting experience.
new quality productive forces. So China aiming to really boost advanced productivity
Yes.
through more technology, efficiency, high quality development, sort of a new driving force in
Yes.
terms of elevating China's growth and development to a next level.
Yes, I think it's also is aimed for the emerging industries and future industries
Yeah.
such as quantum technology and also artificial intelligence and the low altitude economy, but
Yeah.
also try to upgrade the traditional industries. I think it's also another major part for promoting new quality productive forces.
I mean, we're in Hainan province. This is such a green province, and you see a lot of advanced green technologies
Yes.
and green development concepts here, right? So even at the Boao Forum venue, you see, for example, coffee that's made in a very sustainable way, paper cups made in a very sustainable way, and it's so important for China as well, because China's plan is to go from peaking carbon emissions to carbon neutrality
Right.
in around 30 years, which is a much shorter time compared to many of the advanced economies who have about 50 to 70 years to make this transition. And for Asia in general, this is a very manufacturing heavy part of the world, right? So in terms of ESG, in terms of green development, and how do we use innovation to really boost green development, tie everything together, this is going to be so important for Asia as a manufacturing titan. How do we make manufacturing industry in this part of the world greener, I guess, as well? Jessica, let me come to you because thank goodness you did your show earlier today, right?
She's all wet now.
When it was a bit sunnier.
Thank
Right
you.
now it is pouring. But you were walking around this cultural park.
Can we please have some tissue? Can someone give us some tissue?
I
She's
didn't
all wet
notice
now.
that. I didn't notice that.
It's like taking a shower in here.
But actually, let's just tell our audience it is pouring now. You're
Yeah.
all wet, but it actually kind of
Well,
feels
I'm
nice,
trying.
right? Because
Actually,
it's been so
I'm
hot.
trying so hard to listening to our ladies
Hearing
and gentlemen
us.
to hear.
Yeah, because the wind is really coming in.
Yeah.
The wind is
I'm at
coming.
the entrance. I'm at the entrance. Okay.
You're at the entrance. How about this? You want to come over here?
Yeah, you
We're
should.
gonna. How about let me shift over a little
Let's
bit,
shift
and then
over.
you come in a little bit more.
Sure,
Is that
sure.
better? This is better, right? This is what I love about a live program because
You never know.
you never know. We
never
got to show
know.
the sunny Hainan province, and we also got to show this wonderful rainstorm that we are in right now.
Yeah, that was definitely a unique
Yeah.
experience for me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, this time, 2024, will be the second time for me at the Boao Forum for Asia.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of changes and also differences in terms of the green development or clean energy. So, and also I find something really interesting for these years about there is a mini program on WeChat.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a mini program on WeChat trying to protect us. Yeah. So that it is telling the visitors, the people from the press and also our delegates, what are the behaviors for common citizens can do to protect the world and to sustainable development, especially from the ordinary people's perspective. And also by doing and making every mission complete, we can gain this kind of coins, golden coins, and then we can change these coins to coffee or gifts.
It's like a
Oh,
token, right?
Yes, yes, at the main venue area. So
Oh, I
that
didn't
was
know that.
very interesting this year. And also from our team, we are doing a kind of a video series called Ask China.
Yeah.
So basically, we've collected some questions from our CGTN followers online. That's what questions they are interested about China's economic development or Asia economic development. So questions like, first of all, what are your focus for this year for Boao Forum for Asia? And also how does the Asian integration and how does the globalization will impact the world economy or the Asia's economy? And also questions like, what are the business potentials and business trade in Asia regions? So I've got quite a lot of interesting answers from the guests, and basically what they are very positive about is for the technology industry, for the AI industry, and how the regional cooperation in technology is going to reach to peak or to take more advantage. And also we need to use the regional cooperation to ban the disadvantage, and we know that there are good and bad for the AI technology.
Okay.
So that is something that the regional cooperation would be focused on in the coming years.
That's nice.
Yeah, that would be something related to the Ask China series. So that would be
Okay.
an interesting topic.
Yeah. I mean, China, of course, a major driver for Asia's economy, 60% against of the population living in this part of the world. Gita Gopinath from the IMF, their forecast is that Asia is going to grow by about 4.5% this year. Global growth, they're forecasting 3.1%. So, you know, the dynamism of Asia as a global growth driver. They're also saying that Asia could contribute to 2/3 of global growth overall. So a very dynamic part of the world. Chen Zhong, let me come to you. This is your first time at the Boao Forum. Give us your thoughts.
Well, one thing I was not expecting is that this year there are so many journalists, like 5,000 participants were attending this year's conference, but you know, like 1,200 of them are journalists. And we met a lot of journalists actually from other countries, including one from Mongolia. And actually, we did a similar, as Jessica mentioned, an Ask China format. Like both of us went to ask an expert who knows very well about Asia, and I found there are many like foreign journalists who really curious about China. For example, that Mongolia reporter, he's very curious about like whether there are challenges like China will face in the future in terms of economic development, and he's also curious about what types of things like China and Mongolia should do in case to boost the economy in North Asia. But as you know, like China and Mongolia are actually neighbors. So the cooperation between the two countries will of course benefit the economic development of North Asia. And also another thing I want to mention is AI. Because if you check the agenda of this year's conference, there are many topics about artificial intelligence. Actually, I interviewed an expert yesterday. He's a professor from South Korea, and he predicted the singularity point of AI. That means the point of time like AI will surpass the abilities of human beings. He predicted the singularity will come out after 5 years. So
Wow, 5 years.
Yeah, which is much faster than like most professors, experts predicted.
But why? Why did he predict singularity in just 5 years? That's quite an amazing speed.
I know, like as we saw, like there are Sora, which will probably bring impact on our journalists, and also ChatGPT, all types of technologies, algorithms are coming up. So we never know. And also, like China Media Group launched solely AI generated cartoons right here at a conference of the Boao Forum for Asia. So like everything we see from the development of the artificial intelligence, like you can tell, probably the singularity point of time will come maybe after 2 or 3 years.
I mean, you raised a good point, because ChatGPT came out, in November of 2022. We had Sora in about just 1.5 years' time.
They've really taken the world by storm.
Yeah.
I mean, I interviewed the founder of iRobot, that was Xiaoai Corporation, that is an AI robot company that's listed in NASDAQ. And what he said, he said all industries will eventually integrate with AI. So AI eventually will be like the air, the water, the electricity that each industry depends on. He said AI is right at the core of our key discussions about science and technology innovation, and that's going to remain so for the next 100 years. That's his point of view.
There we go.
Yeah, very interesting.
I mean, there are predictions that eventually AI humanoid robots are going to number more than the number of cars in the world, which potentially may make sense if, AI develops to a certain
But do you
stage.
think we should be afraid? Like one day probably our jobs will be replaced by AI.
There is a distinct possibility. That's why reskilling is so important, right? Because we have so many developing economies here in Asia, right? So how do we really close the technology gap? A major portion of the population in this part of the world needs to be reskilled to make sure they don't lose out in this technology upgrade. We're here in Hainan, of course. This is China's largest special economic zone, the Hainan Free Trade Port. And I think one of my main takeaways is the economic integration that you mentioned as well, Chintong, of this entire region. Because in other parts of the world, we may see, in terms of trade, protectionism, unilateralism, but it seems like Asia is very open to trade. We have sort of an alphabet soup of free trade agreements here in Asia, right? RCEP, DEPA, DEPA, we've got the CPTPP. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, this is the world's largest free trade agreement. What I find interesting about RCEP is there are high-income economies, so rich economies, you have middle-income and lower-income economies all coming together. Big countries, large countries all coming together, which is not easy for a trade agreement.
How do you create a let's say a play field for each economy?
Yeah.
Big or small, strong or weak,
exactly.
and they all need to
Yeah.
play in this fair game to
Yeah.
do trade, and also that needs to, of course, be beneficial to their own economy.
But that also says, I think, something about Asia's pragmatism, because we have such diversity of economies, of cultures and civilizations here in Asia, and to be able to band together to form this massive free trade agreement is very interesting, because I was reading something by Dr. Henry Kissinger. He wrote something in the early 90s, and he was imagining this massive free trade agreement that he said he wanted to span from Anchorage in the U.S. state of Alaska all the way down to Cape Horn at the southernmost tip of Chile.
Wow.
So basically a free trade agreement.
Yeah.
He was envisioning
Worldwide,
this from the Arctic to the Antarctic in the
Okay.
early 90s. But of course, North America and South America was not able to do that. But here in Asia, we sort of did
Yeah,
that, because
yeah, yeah.
RCEP goes
Yes.
from Beijing all the way down to Wellington in New
Yeah.
Zealand. It's a massive free trade area.
APEC region, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that speaks to the pragmatism, I think, of Asian economies and the ability to get things done and to still cooperate despite the diversity that we have in the region.
So you've been here for like many years. So how do you feel about the economic development of the Hainan province compared with years ago?
Well, I mean, Lily has said, one of my dreams is perhaps down the road to come to Hainan, get myself a little plot of land, grow some coffee beans, right? That would be fantastic. But I would say this, I am very optimistic about the Hainan Free Trade Port, because you are so close to one of the most dynamic regions in all of Asia, ASEAN, right? This is an area that's about 670 million people. It is forecast to become the fourth largest economy in the world by 2030. Young, vibrant workforce. It's close to China's Greater Bay Area, 80 million strong, right, of Guangdong province.
Yeah.
The synergies that you can see in Hainan, the opportunities available here, I think are absolutely boundless. So in terms of education, in terms of medical tourism, first, negative list for cross-border trade in services, value-added tax incentives for industry as well. Tourism, did I mention that? Yes, I did. I would love to be here half of the year. So I think it'd be a great time to think about entrepreneurship
Yeah.
here in Hainan.
Yes.
So-
Actually, foreign trade in Hainan Island hit a record high last year,
Yeah.
which ranks the 5th nationwide. So you can tell like Hainan has already made a lot of developments over the past year, especially since the first year in 2018, like China mentioned, Hainan will build itself into a free trade port.
Yeah.
I also think opening up is a very key message at this year's
Absolutely.
opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Because I went there, I covered the opening ceremony, and then China's top legislator attended and
Yeah.
delivered a keynote speech. I
By the
think
way,
it
guys,
again-
this is great.
and I think he again and again stressed that China will work to optimize its business environment
Yeah.
and welcome investment. And I think that's also a message shared by other leaders and guests at the
Absolutely.
opening ceremony.
I think China's message of openness, that has been very strong. And
Yes.
speaking of openness, if you qualify as a certain type of high-level talent, your personal income tax rate here in this province is only 15%. It's only 15%. So I think it's a good time to, come and invest in Hainan and think about this. If one day, for example, AI takes over our jobs, that coffee farmer dream, you never know. It could become
course.
true.
And I'm also very looking forward to next year's, because I think there will always be changes and opportunities and something different
Yeah.
for 2025, right? For the Boao Forum for Asia.
Yeah, and hopefully we
yeah.
won't be doing this in a rainstorm, but we're going to show, the beautiful sunshine
Yes.
of Hainan as well. But also, speaking of openness, one last thing about that, I think.
Of course.
Hainan has a visa-free policy now for, I think, around 59 countries. So Canada, United States, for example, Japan, Brazil, the UAE, many countries around the world can come over to Hainan, visa-free policy, 30 days, come over. For business, tourism, sporting events, exhibitions, come to Hainan, 30 days visa-free. So Iceland, for example, is part of this program. Norway, for example. So, our viewers in Iceland and Norway, if it gets too cold during the winter in
Come
Iceland,
to Hainan.
come to the tropical island of Hainan,
Yes.
30 days visa-free, right?
Beach and
course.
sunshine here.
Yeah, yeah.
And hot spring as well. So, Michael, if there's
Great
anything,
point.
if there's anything that you feel like you have missed a little at this year's Boao Forum, would it be the hot spring?
It would be going to the hot spring every single day, right? Because
Okay.
we are all busy covering the forum every
Right.
single
Of course.
year. But there's a hot spring inland, more inland. We're near the seaside. You can't tell because we're in a cultural park right now, but we're very close to the sea. But there is a hot spring, natural hot spring water that's very close by, and they divert that water into this area. And it is so convalescent. It's so, first of all, it's healthy, but it's stress relieving as well, right? At night, you just go for a little hot spring.
I hope we all get a chance to do it.
Well, tonight, maybe we'll see. I have no idea. There's some coconut milk.
Sure.
I mean, it's warm. It's a hot spring, right?
Okay,
It's
so
very
it
warm.
rains from there, and then you feel like you can still use the hot spring?
If you want to, I mean, just bring an umbrella, right?
Oh, okay. That's going to be romantic.
Then, then we bring an umbrella, and then we can enjoy the hot springs.
Okay.
Skies are brighter, and then it's gonna be a little bit. We're waiting for the sun. Right?
Although something that I always wanted to do in life is to run around in the rain like this, right?
Really?
In a rainstorm lake.
Go ahead. Now.
Right now? Should we?
Go do this.
I mean, because we're a bit out of time anyways. So, okay, how about this? Closing remarks from everyone, and then we'll wrap it up. Chun-Dong, some closing remarks?
Well, it's actually my first time to cover the conference of the Boao Forum for Asia. And maybe next year, I'll see you next year and also do such thing next year.
Yeah.
And we'll chat together, have some snack together. Looking forward.
Okay. Go on.
I think I still really cherish this opportunity to have different dialogues and also exchanges with people coming from various industries and also fields, no matter it's scholars or government officials or entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It's always a really great chance to hear about their insights on, global monetary inflation issues, and ranging from this to green development, climate crisis. I think those are very critical issues that could have some major impact for our lives in a very long term.
Absolutely.
Time. Yeah.
Because we talk about Asia's growth. I mean, this is not in some self-interest, right? Because Asia's growth affects the world's growth. Because
it surely plays a role.
Exactly. This is the world's largest economic and trading region. So Asia's growth matters for the world.
Yeah, it's one of the most dynamic and potential regions in the world in terms of global economy.
If Asia does well, businesses from all around the world can find abundant opportunities here. Lily, some closing remarks?
I would hope for next year everything that you guys already have hoped for.
Yeah.
Plus seeing Michael in a hot spring with an umbrella in a rainfall.
Maybe we could do our live stream like that next time.
Looking forward to that. Okay. So before my wrap-up words, actually, we are now here at the cultural park, just located in the southern part of the Boao Forum for Asia
venue.
Yes. And actually, there will be an exhibition from each city in Hainan. Last year was Sanya, and this year will be the provincial capital Haikou.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there will be the culture exhibition for exhibit like cultural items, intangible cultural heritage, and ecological ecosystem protection, etc., etc. So this one I want to share.
Oh, those earrings!
Wow. Yeah,
And it matches your dress.
that's why I picked this color.
Yeah.
So are they like hand broidered?
Yes, actually, this is
Beautiful.
provincial intangible cultural heritage called the grass waving. Yeah, the local
It's made of grass.
Yes, grass waving, and it is called Dongxintao.
Okay.
Dongxintao is located, is planted here at local grass, and it's waterproof and could not rotting for many years, and also insect proof as well.
Yeah.
So this kind of like exhibition, I think that can get more insights or more understanding of how Hainan is developing. Last year, Sanya, I think this time is Haikou, and we will see what will be the next one.
Okay,
Yeah.
next year.
A lot of good
Maybe
culture
another city. Yeah.
here in Hainan province. So that's going to do it for us, although I would say one final thing. So I moderated a session on rare diseases, and I think that really sort of encapsulates what this forum is all about, because this is something that's not really talked about. It's called a rare disease, but so many people around the world are affected by it, about 300 to 400 million people. And oftentimes there are no cures for rare diseases. The cure rate is 0. And this is, I think, what we talk about when we say common challenges, shared responsibilities. And when I moderated that session, it just seemed to me, because we're all in the news business,
Yeah.
after hearing about the difficulties perhaps that rare disease patients go through, I feel like geopolitics, for example, just seems so small compared to something like this. This is something the international community should really focus on. Right? This is something where we have a shared responsibility. It's a common challenge for all, and a shared responsibility that we should really try and tackle.
Yeah.
That's
So
a really
this
good
is
point.
everybody cheers. This is to health,
To health,
to health, to a better world, a shared future,
shared
and next
responsibilities.
year's Boao Forum
Next
for
year.
Asia, everyone. Thank you so much.
We're going to enjoy the snacks.
you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.